Okay, so today in this session we'll discuss the batch processing. Now just try to think like what is the scenario when you should go for batch processing. Okay, so one of batch processing use is, for example, you are developing a, just think about this same student. Okay, so you are developing a application where the students records are available in Excel file, right? Now there will be interface where individual students record is going to be captured and stored in the database, no doubt on that one. But initially, obviously, whoever the user is going to ask, is it possible I can import all my data to the database? Okay, get the point? So the user will ask that particular things. For example, Centurion, we are having 4,000, 5,000 student. Now if you try to enter all those data, it will take lot of time, okay, lot of manpower also, but it can be done using a single click also, right? A interface where it will take the Excel file and buy and include all those things, okay, added all those in the database. Okay, so that is one approach. Another is, you have seen like the attendance sheet, right? In the attendance sheet in the class, suppose in this class 120 students are there, right? That means while I am clicking the button, 120 records are being entered, because there must be a table where you can call it as attendance table. Now in the attendance table there must be like session ID, like for this in the timetable there must be, each thing will be considered as a session. The session ID, the student ID, that means whether in that particular session that student is present or absent. Then the date, okay, so suppose today is 2nd, right? Like these different columns are there, and at the end there will be a one column, that is whether you are present or absent. That means 120 record are going to enter like this, because later also we need to update the data, so every record has to be there. So obviously I'm not going to enter, like there should not be any different page like for one student, second student, third student. It has to be all student and one click. So there the concept comes the batch processing. What the scenario where you should use this concept, where you have a lot of data at a time you are sending and you are processing. Got the point? Okay. Now that is the thing it is talking about, the batch processing. Now the batch processing can be done through statement as well as prepared statement. Okay. So we have three kind of things: statement, prepared statement, callable statement. So statement and prepared statement works on the base of SQL query, whereas callable statement works on the base of stored procedure. Okay, suppose you have a stored procedure and you want to execute, you should go for the callable statement. Okay, now if it is a statement, then how you are going to do this particular thing? So simple is this, as simple is this one. So what you have to do is, normal, if you try to see, there are two different methods are there: add batch, execute batch. Now you are not calling execute query or execute update. Mostly you will see in this kind of queries, it should be a data manipulation, because you are multiple things you are not retrieving. Your multiple data has to be entered. Get the point? Okay. So there what you have to do is, like, each time you are going for add batch, you are not processing, rather you are adding in a batch, and you are sending the whole batch to the database for execution. So in that particular time what you are going to do is, you are saying execute batch. Is it clear? You are simply creating create statement. Over here you are not passing any SQL query. Previously we have seen like create statement in case of prepared statement. Okay, so that is query has to be passed. In case of statement, the query should not be passed, but while executing update, we have to provide the SQL query. But here the execute batch has to be written, because each query is been added as a batch. Okay, the method is been used as add batch. Got the point? Now similar case you can go for the prepared statement. Now in case of prepared statement, what you need to do? So you have a SQL query. So what is the SQL query? Update people set. First name is question mark, that's a in parameter. Last name is question mark, that's a another in parameter, and ID, that's a searching criteria in parameter. So 3 in parameters are there. So obviously whenever you are creating a statement and processing for execution, you have to set the value. So first of all you are setting the value, prepared statement dot set string. Okay, depending upon what kind of argument it is. So first name, last name must be a string, ID it can be a long or integer. So now this is long is been used. Now after this one, what you are doing? Add batch. In statement, in add batch we are passing the argument. In prepared statement, it is a pre-compiled SQL query. You are simply by setting the value, you are just saying add batch. Got the point? Second time, whenever for second value you are setting something, then same thing you have to do. Okay, same thing you have to do. What you are doing? Setting the for name, setting for last name, setting for the ID, then add batch. At the end, execute batch. Got the point? What is the difference you are getting? In the previous part, it is something like add batch, you are passing the SQL query. So that means the value, it is like you have to incorporate, maybe plus plus or directly you have to write. So if it is within the variable, then you have to make string concatenation and you have to bring that value as a string to the query. Okay, just like previous class we have done, right? But in case of this, there is in parameter. So in parameter needs to be set, then add batch. In parameter set, add batch. The number of values are there. You are setting, adding, setting, adding. Lastly, you are saying execute batch. Is it clear? Okay. Now if you try to implement this particular concept, okay, so I can create a one more class. Okay, so I can use the same DAO class whatever I have created before. Okay, and model class and DAO class, both the things are there. I am just changing over here in the this particular part. Okay, so instead of doing this particular thing, I am creating a one more class which is going to contain the main function for taking the value and processing it. What is the point? So this is something I can name it as like batch demo. Okay, this is a batch processing, so batch demo. Is it fine? And it requires a main function. Done? Okay. Now my model class is ready, so I have nothing to change. Okay, in my model class, what is the things are there? The student, which is exactly matching to this particular thing. Okay, right? So that is your ID, name, score, grade and its property, means the property with its getter setter. So all getter setters are there and there is a toString that will display the value. Okay, got the point? Now next is, here we have a DAO class, okay, which will contain all my DAO related kind of thing. So this is my connection statement. Okay, so in the connection statement, as you can see, we are creating the loading the driver and returning the connection. So now what I have to do is, we have to create one method, one for statement, another for prepared statement, okay, for batch processing. Now in this particular case, I am just assuming I have some record, it is a console based application, so we have to enter all datas one after another, okay. Then we will bind and we will send that particular thing to the database for storing. Is it clear? The use case is, any doubt on the in this particular use case? No doubt, okay. So basic idea is, let us, the interface will capture multiple students information and it is going to store on the base of batch. Get the point? Okay. So public, what next? Successful, unsuccessful. A single value when it is, then we are sending integer. Now multiple insert operation or update operation, then it should be integer of array, right? Integer of array. So int of array, right? What is my method name? Add student, okay, using statement batch. Suppose I am using the statement and I am just giving this name, okay. Now what is the argument is required? It's a insert. That means multiple student object has to be passed. So obviously it should be a list of student. Okay? Are you, is it clear? That value is will be provided by whom? It will be provided by main function, because in the main function we are going to add students record, we are going to enter the value, then it will come to this particular place for processing, correct? Okay, so obviously int integer of array status equals to null and return null. Okay, clear, right? Now same thing we have to do, connection con equals to null so statement st equals to null, so there is no result set, so we can go for try block. Okay, now in the try block, for any case if it is a error, print tag trace. Okay, now connection equals to student dot get connection, right? What next? Statement equals to con dot create statement. What next? Now what next? Now we need to add in the batch. Now this is a collection, so we have to go for a loop. Obvious, yes or no? Neither how could you traverse through each element? So we have to go through each object, then each object value has to be pass on to, means we have to construct the SQL query and we have to pass that SQL query for the batch. Got the point? So we can go for each because it's a collection, okay, and this is student STUD, okay, ST, because I have taken STUD on the top, okay, so I can change it to STUD list because this is a list, okay, and I can make it STUD and this will be your other point. Now individual object I am getting, okay, now I can access through STUD individual object. Now what do you have to do? You have to create a string, that is SQL equals to, why? Because insert statement, okay. So what do you need to write? Insert into students, I think the table name is students, then within bracket you do not require for value, means ID, but require name, then score, grade, okay, then values, okay. After values what you need to do? Bracket start. Now it is a string, so if it is a string, single quote, yes or no? Yes or no? Right? So single quote, here you have to put double quote because you have to concatenate the value, yes or no? Then STUD dot get what? Sorry, you have to use plus STUD dot get name, done, yes or no? Okay, what next? You have to put a comma, right? Then it's a score is a what? Integer, does not require any single quote, so but value has to be reflect, so STUD dot get score, okay. Again one more comma, then single quote, then you have to concatenate, so this one, then STUD dot get grade. Now you have the SQL query. After this SQL query, what do you have to do? What next? What you have to do? You have to add in the batch. So st dot add batch. What you are passing? SQL query. So the number of object inside this list, it will process, it will add in the batch, then lastly what you need to do? Status equals to st dot execute batch, correct? Lastly same thing, finally, okay, a try catch block where st dot close and connection dot close, okay. Done. So in the same way, what you can do, you can also write another method for prepared statement. So this is for statement. Okay. So for prepared statement, what will be the changes? The changes will be over here. So I can name it as like prepare batch. I am just giving a name. Okay. And the statement is going to change as prepared statement, right? Then connection dot prepare this thing. Then you need the this insert statement. Okay. Here there will be 3 question mark. Yes or no? So value will be contain 3 question mark. Now after 3 question mark, what do you need to do? You have to pass the SQL query, right? Now over here you need to go for doing the thing. Okay. Now here you do not require any SQL to be passed. Okay. But here you need to set the value. Correct. So statement dot set string. This is for first one, which is nothing but your name. So obviously it is stud dot get name, st dot set integer, right, which is second one for score, and stud dot get score. Same thing, st dot set string, which is the third argument, and this is nothing but available in stud dot get grade. Okay. And you have to go for the add batch, stud dot execute batch. Okay. And done. Right. Now what you need to do? One more thing, that is your demo. Here you need to enter the data. Correct. Okay. So how many data you are going to enter? So obviously that should be a loop. Okay. So you can say sys out and how many record you want to enter, right? And obviously you require the scanner, right? Scanner sc equals to new scanner system dot in. Okay. Right. And here you can go for something like int count equals to sc dot next line, and I can pass this particular thing within the argument of integer dot parts int, and this is right, and you can go for while count okay, while count greater than 0, okay. So till that particular time it is going to work. Got the point? So in each processing what you need to do, you have to create a list, right? So list which is a student list, new array list, right? Okay, because you have to bind, and you can go for sysout, enter student name, score, and what is the last one, grade, okay. And same thing stud, and you have to create each object and you have to bind, right? So student stud equals to new student, okay. Then stud dot set name, which is sc dot next line, then stud dot set score, which is nothing but sc integer dot parse int sc dot next line, and stud dot set grade, which is nothing but sc dot next line, okay. So you are adding all those, means you are created a list. So after creating a list, what do you need to do? You have to create the object of DAO, okay. So student DAO equals to new student DAO, right? Okay. Then for capturing the records, how many completed and all, okay. So integer, then you can say status equals to DAO dot add student using statement, okay, and you are passing this particular thing, right? Now you need to know how many records are inserted, yes or no? Then I can say int sum equals to 0, okay, and I am taking a for each, and this is the thing, and sum plus equals to I. Yeah, you can use either or. You can use this one because both are the same purpose. Okay, I'm just trying to show you like both are working. That's it. Okay. Now, if this is the case, what is the next point? The next point is sysout. Okay. What next? Sysout. Okay, some number of record added. What the point? One more thing also you can do, something like if the status is null, then obviously there is some kind of error. So if you try to on a null, you are applying this for each, may create problem. So for that you can use if status not equals to null, okay, then this particular thing, right? So let us execute and see. Okay, so how many okay, I have entered. So one more time. So I want to enter two records. Okay, now it is asking name. So suppose Rahim scored suppose 75, which is again A grade. Okay, again it's passing. So suppose Suraj scored 80 and E grade. Okay, so 0 number of record added. That means there must be some kind of error in the list. Okay, and it's not reflecting, maybe because we have not okay. So okay, so the problem is yeah, the problem is I have not entered but I have not added any value to this particular thing. Okay, so the mistake is over here, like student list dot add, this particular line is missing, so that's why it was null. So though there is null, nothing is going to enter. Okay, Okay, so values are coming, there is no issue. Okay, so now you can so 2 times it's adding the SQL query, then it's coming out, executing the batch. Okay, now this is 1 and 1, you can mark the value. Okay, so closing the connection statement and returning the value. Okay, so it is saying 2 records are dead. Okay, so if you try to see the record, so 2 records are also been found in this list. Okay, the same approach, same thing, what you need to do is you need to only change over here student using statement. So instead of statement, prepare that method whatever we have mentioned over here. Okay, so prepare batch. So this method needs to be called over here and it is going to work also. Okay, because these are the 2 different approach, but the thing is both are same. Okay.